Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Lisa. Welcome to Have Trailer.
Let's travel.
So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about Durango. We just absolutely fell in love with it as we were not sure what it was all about because the town of Durango is today known for its amazing scenery and the outdoors adventures, but it is an incredible town in terms of the history of the mining and the railroads and the Old West. It was officially founded in 1880 by the Denver and Rio Grande Railway. The town was established to serve as a supply hub for the booming silver and gold mines that were in the nearby San Juan Mountains. And it was a time of absolute growth for the American West. And the railroads played such an important part in connecting these remote mining towns like Durango to the rest of the country. Durango was actually named after Durango, Mexico, a city that had similar mining roots. And the 19th century, the late 19th century, was truly a time of excitement and opportunity in Durango. The surrounding mountains were so rich with precious metals, particularly silver, and the town quickly became a center of commerce for mining operations. The nearby town of Silverton, which is accessible via an amazing train ride that we took and that you can see on another episode. And it became one of the most important mining centers in the region. The railroad that was constructed in 1882 was originally built to haul silver and gold ore, but it's since become one of the most popular tourist attractions in Colorado. As mining thrived, Durango, it really grew so rapidly. And by the late 1880s, the town had its own smelter to process the ore from the surrounding mines, and it became a vital link in the regional economy. However, during the silver panic, 1893, the economy of Durango suffered a major setback as the silver prices went plummeting. And Durango still continued on. It by the early 20th century, the town was diversifying. It focused on agriculture, on ranching, and tourism. And with automobiles and better roads, Durango became more accessible and attracted visitors with the amazing landscape that it had. And today you can see for yourself what I'm going to show you is just an amazing, amazing town that is beautiful and modern and yet maintains that really small town old west feel. It really was a revelation for us, and as I will show you some of the historical points of interest in this town, you will see that it's far more than just a railroad town. Now we turn to the Newman Block. It's a building that was named after Charles Newman. Newman was a very prosperous pharmacist who owned four pharmacies with his brother in law. As a discoverer of the Swansea mine in Rico, he added to his own personal fortune and he represented the area in the Colorado Senate. Newman's drugstore in Durango went on to become S.G. Wall Druggist. And what's really neat when I was digging for information on it, the building's elevator was such a curiosity in the 1890s. People would come to the building just to ride the big city contraption. And at certain times, the original tenant, there was the Smelter National Bank, and that failed in 1897. The Durango National Bank later became a tenant, but it too ended up not doing so good. And now, the building housed that bank and then a hardware store on parts in during different periods in time. It was office space. It was converted in 1928 into a theater, and it was actually bought by 20th Century Fox in the 1930s. It served as an indoor movie theater throughout the 1980s. And even the very famous actor, one of my faves, Jimmy Stewart, was made an honorary mayor of Durango and of the and the ceremony was at the theater. while filming the movie Naked Spur. A major fire occurred on the block in 1974 and burnt down 6 buildings mid block, but this building survived. In the 1980s, the theater did close and the building was converted into retail spaces with offices upstairs. Newman Block was the first individual building to be listed on the National Register from Durango. It was added actually in 1980. Now, what is really neat is to see the various pictures of the block when it was, in its heyday, as it exists now, and also during different periods of its existence. So it's kind of neat. When I stood there, it was just amazing to kind of say, hey, that has been here as long as this town, and very neat to know the history and what stories this one building in this one town could hold, which is the essence of what genealogical travel and history travel is all about. Now we turn our attention to the Pinkerton Hot Springs, which is located just outside Durango, Colorado, first discovered by James Harvey Pinkerton, who was a pioneer settler, and he established a ranch nearby and initially used the hot water just for his own use. But over time, word spread about these amazing springs, and they became a local attraction, with people believing in the healing properties of the mineral rich water. Over time, we had we had water that was bottled and sold around in the 1890s, and also there was a Pinkerton in the Pines kind of a spa resort, and you can see it in the initial period. I think this is 1920s or something, and then a little bit later it eventually did close, but it was very well known throughout the West as being this wonderful resort. So now for something completely different, let's explore William Harrison Dempsey, also known as Jack Dempsey, the world heavyweight boxer. And he got his start in Colorado. He was born in Manassas, Colorado. He had 66 wins. He was a cultural icon in the Roaring Twenties. He really elevated boxing's popularity. And after retirement, he owned a very famous New York restaurant, and he's widely regarded as one of the greatest heavyweights in boxing history. But it all started in Durango when he what fought on this very spot where you see this commemorative historical marker. He fought Andy Malloy, and he won a prize of $50. And this was one of the major breakthroughs, if you will. And so they commemorated the fact that Jack Dempsey fought right here and right on the corner, and kind of got his start here in the mining camps and the mining towns of Colorado. So, as I've said, Durango just keeps surprising and keeps reinventing itself. Because by 1981, a man named Frank Crail decided he was going to, have a business of some kind. I read on their website, he said when they moved, he had a family and he had to support his family. So he said, well, what's the town missing? It was either a car wash, he said, or a chocolate store. He decided to go with chocolates. Today, there are over 300 Rocky Mountain chocolate stores, and they are still based in Durango, Colorado. And they have a 53,000 square facility just outside Durango, so you can see that this town just has something special. So when you see the town or the name Rocky Mountain Chocolate, you know that it really does come from the mountains of Colorado. So I thought that was a really interesting, and I had no idea until I started looking up things that Durango was known for. And we walked into the shop and and of course I bought some fudge and that sort of thing. If you haven't had Rocky Mountain Chocolate, you are missing out. So absolutely next time you are given the opportunity to go into one of their shops, please do so. You won't be disappointed. And a beautiful, beautiful memorial to the victims of September 11th, 2001. Wherever we've gone in this country, it pops up in the most unlikely places, and we weren't prepared for this. This is a beautiful, beautiful memorial. And let me just read you what the plaque says. La Plata County Freedom Trees. These trees are dedicated to the victims and heroes of September 11, 2001, by the employees of La Plata County government. September 11, 2002. So it was 1 year after. And the quote from Thomas Jefferson is, "Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty." Beautiful. And so we ended our day at the Steamworks Brewing Company. We hadn't planned on this. It was very serendipity because as we were wandering the streets, we kept seeing this restaurant. And so it was sort of calling our name. And we were not disappointed. It was fabulous service, wonderful food, great atmosphere. We would absolutely recommend it. There are many, many fine restaurants in Durango that we didn't get to, and we will the next trip for sure. And we still have to do the museum, and there's a couple of other hotels we wanted to check out. So trust us when we say we're not done with Durango just yet. Thanks so much for joining us on this wonderful tour of Durango, Colorado. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you somewhere on the road.